Hello, and welcome to the Light Institute meditation here in Galisteo, New Mexico, that we do at the Sanctuary of Light. For those of you who have not joined us before, we divide our meditation into 3 parts so that we can really access different levels of consciousness. And because we're using technology to do this, the way that we do this is that after the first part, I'll make a little om sound, and you can push the pause button on your computer so that you can sit in meditation for as long as you like. And then I will speak the second part, and then again the om, and pause, and then the third part. The third part of our meditation is always when we bring a focus to the outside world, something that's happening in the world each week. And this week we're going to focus on the seas and the living beings in the seas, because I recently heard that some of the beautiful mammals in the sea have been suffering tremendously because of the toxins, and many of the seas around the planet, because of the warm waters, are having red algae bloom, which is killing off so many of the animals. So we want to send light into that and imagine that the light is dissolving and moving out from the third dimension, the toxins that we humans are pouring into our seas and disturbing the balance. And then the second part of the meditation, going backwards, is about light, because everything is made of light. And the more light that we call to ourselves and the more light we send from ourselves, the more peaceful we are, the more focused we are, and the more expansive is our consciousness. And so we will call forth the white light from the cosmos down to the top of the head, and we'll laser it out through our stomach area. It's called the solar plexus, and this is the center of the emotional body. So when we pass white light through that, it quickens our frequencies. It allows us to expand our consciousness, and we laser that light out across the planet and back into the cosmos. And you just continue to do that, and you will find that stills you, it quiets you, and it uplifts you. And then in the first part, which we're going to do now, we ask our divine higher self to take form, so that we recognize that we are connected to our source through our higher self, which could come in the form of an animal or a star or a being, an equation. Doesn't matter the form that it takes, but it creates a vibration. And when we draw it into our body, again, it quickens our frequency and uplifts us. It's our own inner voice, our higher selves. So this is how we do it. You ready? Close your eyes. We'll begin with a little breathing, because as you exhale, that triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to calm you, to slow down your brain, and that automatically brings you into the alpha state of meditation. So begin by breathing slowly in through your nose, and even more slowly exhale through your mouth. And once again, breathe in through your nose. And feel your brain slowing down. Now just pause for a moment and breathe. Meditation is a gift to you, to your true self. Now ask your higher self, the intuitive essence of your soul, your own inner voice, to take a form for you. Each time you ask your higher self to take a form, it will take a different one. See what form comes to you now. And ask your higher self to touch the place in your body where you hold your divine essence at this moment. And just imagine that there's a touch somewhere in your body. Then bring your focus right in that touch. And breathe in through that touch. In and out. And now draw your higher self in through that point of divine source into your body and sit in meditation. Om. Take a deep breath into your body and reach up with your consciousness into the cosmos and pull down for you a beautiful beam of white light down through the top of your head, down into your stomach, your solar plexus, and then laser it out. Imagine that that light is traveling across the planet, back into the sky and into the cosmos, and then it cycles back, drawing it down through you. Each time you're drawing it down, you're clearing you, quickening you, expanding your consciousness. Radiate it, give that gift to the planet and back into the sky. And just continue that drawing in. You can do it with your breath. Breathe in, draw the white light down. Exhale, laser it out across the planet. Reach up into the sky. Breathe in, draw that light down. Just continue that for as long as you like. Om. In this third part of our meditation today, we will extend our consciousness into the oceans around the world, into all of the beings that live in the ocean that are being affected by the red tides, by the toxins that have come into the sea, by the imbalance of the waters. So just take a deep breath and let your higher self show you. Maybe there's a particular beach or ocean that you love or that you're aware of, that you've been to, or you could see all of the oceans that flow into each other. I will be meditating on the manatees who are suffering terribly and dying. I love them so. Such gentle beings, but cannot withstand the toxins. And maybe for you it's sharks or dolphins or whales or fish or sea anemones. So you're going to focus on the ocean, see if there's any particular life form that you want to choose, and then ask the oceans and the life forms what frequency of light they need from you to be able to survive the imbalance, to adjust, and to purify, to neutralize the toxins going into the oceans, to purify our seas. See what color comes into your consciousness from them. And whatever color you perceive, imagine that you could reach up into the cosmos as we were doing before and pull exactly that tone and that color down from the cosmos through the top of your head into your solar plexus and laser that color out into the seas, into any life form that has come to you, to all of it. And just continue to breathe the color down and laser it into the seas. Continue to do that until you feel a shifting, as if this light that you're giving has already begun to change everything, to heal our seas, our mother, the sea. Om. And take a deep breath into your body and open your eyes. Thank you for joining us in that meditation, especially giving light into the seas to heal them. They are essential to our own survival. And there's a second part of our meditation here. It's called knowings. And people from around the world every week send questions that they would like to discuss and to explore with their consciousness, so that we can all be uplifted through these conversations and this illumination. And so Allison will tell us the questions that have come to us this week.
The first question is from Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo.
Dear Chris, there is a theory, a very disturbing theory, that humanity and all of our world is computer-generated software. What do you think about this?
From the beginning of time, people have had a question. Is it a God, the gods? Is it something in the cosmos? What has caused humans to come forward? And so I think that theory kind of tickles me, because it's kind of the time we're in with computers and all of this, artificial intelligence. But I would say no. We have the power of choice. We have consciousness. And so through that consciousness, I think that we are not simply computer generated. We humans, unlike many societies and conscious beings in the cosmos, we have emotional bodies. And so emotional bodies really wouldn't fit with computer generated. But there's a cosmic giggle that I want to pass to you that my higher self gave me a long time ago. That certainly frees me from that conversation. First of all, I would say, don't even bother with a theory like that, because what's really important is not who or what made us, but how we live our lives, how we use our consciousness to define and describe and to pass on a legacy of what it is to be human. That's what's important. But my higher self has always said, there is a cosmic law, and that is that the created changes the creator. If you want to think of that in human terms, you know that children, next generations, are not just the product of their parents. You're not the product of your parents. You're the next generation. You have things they did not have. You have illumination. You have attributes that they did not have. And above all, they have been changed by you. Whether you had a good time with your parents or not, because they brought you in. And that's a karmic, spiritual contract that happens there. And from the moment that you were brought in, you took your first breath, you changed their lives. And even now, by the way you live your life, you are influencing on psychic levels as well as perhaps intellectual or emotional or spiritual levels. You are changing them, because that's the law of life. And so we don't need to imagine that if we were created even by some advanced technological species who fiddled with its genetics to bring us forward, we have influenced their evolution as well. And so I feel it's very important to let go of that. We're at this point right now where we must learn that it is not who made us, who controls us, who gives to us, who protects us, who threatens us. It's not anything or anyone from the outside that makes the difference of how we live this life and the infinite incarnations of the souls. It is ourselves. And so the more that we say, I am that I am, and we work with that, you'll know that you are not some automated product of anything or anyone, but that in being here in body, you have mandates that have come from your own soul that have said, these are the lessons, these are the gifts, this is the way, this is the path for your evolution. And so let's explore those things as if you were the source, because as a Native American would say, you influence 7 generations into the future. So you yourself, whether you ever have children of your own, you are placing within the ethers energies that influence the qualities and the attributes of humans to come. So polish that and know that there is nothing outside you that chooses your life. You choose it. Great love to you. Allison.
The second question comes from Dallas, Texas, in the U.S.A. Will you please talk about houseplants and if they can make you happier? My children tell me this is true, and I can't really see how this works.
Oh, it is true. And the way you can see how it works is to put some plants in your house and feel the difference. And there's a very scientific and simple answer to that in terms of how that works. And that is that we are symbiotic with the plant kingdom. And what happens there is that when you exhale, you are exhaling carbon dioxide. Plants live on carbon dioxide, so they take that in. Here's this symbiotic energy. It's so perfect. They take it in, and then they breathe out oxygen. Oxygen makes us feel safe and calm. It releases depression. And so when you have plants around, first of all, they're growing, and so you have a living life form to pay attention to. And I notice that plants very much are aware, when just as we are. Are they fed or not fed? Do they get what they need? They don't really like being touched, according to science, but they do like being sung to. They like the sound of the voice. They like our exhaling on them. I love to have flowering plants. So if you have a place in your house where you have flowering plants, we know that there's certain plants that really do influence us. For example, philodendrons are said to bring about a balance of emotions. And I feel that's true. These lovely, juicy, big green leaves that are working with photosynthesis, the essence of life, where we came from as well. You know, we have the plant kingdom inside our genetic encoding. And so there's a relationship there. And when we see a plant thriving and growing, it brings about a peacefulness and also a purpose. We are caring for the plants, and we just didn't realize that the plants are caring for us as well. The other one that I really love are geraniums. Geraniums, first of all, if you don't spray your geraniums and you have them in your house, the flowers of geraniums are delicious to eat. There are many flowers that you can eat. Remember that flowers are the sexual organs of the plant, so they're the future of the plant. So when you eat a flower, it does influence your body and your emotions. And of course, the bright colors of geraniums will always uplift you. And so let yourself explore being a part of the growth, being part of life, and even taking it in, as I love to eat plants. Flowering plants don't mind if you eat their flowers because they'll just create more. And so, yes, plants make us feel better. And there's scientific proof of that. You can look it up. But most of all, it's simply that we need life around us. We need to feel that we're part of a living world, not just a static world. And that helps us to come into balance emotionally, mentally, physiologically, spiritually. Dallas, you have so many wonderful green areas. Don't they make you happy? Allison, is there another one?
The last question is from Great Exuma Cay, the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Dear Miss Griscom, your energy level is legendary here in the Bahamas. Will you please talk in knowings about what your favorite energy foods are?
Energy foods, oh my. There's so many. And of course, I would start by saying food itself, of course, gives us energy. And food itself can take energy from us. If you eat a lot of sugar, you will feel very energetic and then you will plummet. as your blood levels go up from the sugar and then plummet down after several hours. And so what we eat does make a difference. But it's more than that in terms of energy. But I'll begin by just saying a couple of things. I love brewer's yeast. Brewer's yeast I have fed to my animals that all live longer than their species should live. I've been giving it to my children and babies forever, and seeing how brewer's yeast or nutritional yeast is fantastic for energy because it has all the B vitamins. B vitamins are made in our intestines, but of course most of us have intestines that aren't really functioning. We call the intestines our third brain. They're not really functioning perfectly. And if you're not digesting and you're not taking back into your bloodstream the nutrients that you get from eating, then you have a problem. And many of the neurotransmitters of the brain are actually made, serotonin and L-DOPA, they're made in your intestines. So the B vitamins are made in the intestines. They also help to feed the good bacteria in your intestines. That gives you energy. So that's one of the things that I love. And there's so many different foods that bring me joy. I love the algae. I would say that the algae are maybe my second thing for energy, whether they are sea algae or freshwater algae, because we come from the algae. We come from the blue-green algae, which is the very first thing that survived on this planet. And so when we take algae into our body, they not only protect us and give us minerals and proteins and all kinds of things that we need for our health, but they have, again, that life force energy. This is true of the brewer's yeast and nutritional yeast as well. They say it's not really a vitamin, but it's a pro-life element in them. And of course, they're high in protein, which is very nutritious because protein or amino acids are the building blocks of life. That's why I like things like algae, because they are so high in amino acids. And amino acids are the beginning. Rather than eating meat and then breaking down the proteins to get the amino acids to rebuild the proteins that you need, you can just take in pure amino acids and start from there. So you're going to get much quicker energetics. And then there are a couple of things that I do in my life that give me energy. One of them is motion. In Chinese medicine, we say blood follows qi, which is energy. Energy follows blood. And so when we pump our bloods, it gets away depression, it feeds our brain, it allows us to relax. If you work your muscles, if you dance, if you sing, if you swim, if you run, whatever you do, if you play a game, it's going to balance you. It's going to give you energy in your body. And so I think that's very important. And then I love this little trick that I learned actually from a medical doctor probably 40 years ago. It's the old kind of iodine. And we know that because of the increase of radiant energies in the atmosphere, that our thyroids, which is the master gland of energy in our body, get whacked out. And so many people have trouble with their thyroid balance. So if you put the old kind of iodine, which is what I have here, can you see it? It's yellow. It's kind of mustard colored. When I want to work at night or I need energy, I'll put a little on my wrist. You can put it on your wrist or your inner thighs or the soft tissues. And it will, because it stimulates the thyroid will suck it up and it will give you very quick energy. And so I do that a lot, and it keeps my body from getting heavy, keeps my energy levels up, and it only takes about 10 minutes for that to influence me. And of course, the other aspect has to do with your levels of stress. When we're stressed or when we don't feel safe, we're depressed, we have no energy. And so how do we deal with stress or anxiety or depression? Again, we use our consciousness. We use our consciousness. And if you could look around the world and train your mind to find something that inspires you, something that delights you, something that makes you feel peaceful, like meditation, for example. And meditation is life. You don't have to sit in meditation, as we've been doing here. You can just say, I am meditating, and slow down your brain. You can train yourself to do that. So for me, the energy levels that I have are because I'm able to focus on the present. Whatever I'm doing right now, that's who I am. And that's where my life is. And so I use that, and that gives me energy because I'm not burning energy thinking about what has to happen next or what's going on someplace. If I see something that's negative, I use these wonderful exercises in consciousness that we have at the Light Institute to send light to that. And so it gives me a sense of purpose. So I never feel that I'm isolated or I have no purpose. I have energy. And you do as well. I think it's wonderful that you asked me this question from the Bahamas because, of course, you live by the sea. And the sea gives us energy too, that salt water. First of all, it creates this beautiful balance of the liquids, the fluids in our body. And the salt draws out negativity, draws out toxins. And so I have loved coming and being a part of the Bahamas for a very, very long time. So anyone who has that opportunity to go into the sea or even sit by the sea, because it's a cosmic energy, we could say it's our mother because all life came from the sea originally. Again, that brings us to a place where we feel that we can find joy in life and safety and purpose. So know that you have within your consciousness, within outside you and inside you, all that you need to be as energetic as you wish to be. Great love to each and all of you.